I think I have said this now for the last couple of years, but I truly believe probably the only man in America that really understands who Barack Obama is, besides Barack Obama, is Dinesh D'Souza. Everybody, including me, we have all tried to figure him out because something's not right. We were talking this morning about Barack Obama and how he doesn't understand American exceptionalism. He doesn't understand, the American culture when he says, "Oh, look, I'm just like you." No, you're not, Mr. President. And no offense, there's nothing wrong with being different, but there's no way you could be just like me. You grew up in Indonesia. You never went to a 4th of July parade. As a kid, you were never there sitting next to your father and watching the fire trucks. You were never there for the Memorial Day picnics and the, trip your whole life to be able to save up enough to go to Disneyland and then watch Mr. Lincoln stand up and speak. You didn't have those things. Now, that's okay, but I had a coonskin cap as a kid. I know who Davy Crockett is. It's part of the fabric of my being. It's not with you. So you're not like us. You're not like us. And that's not a bad thing. But that explains why we don't understand each other. And the president will deny all of those things. So when we tried to understand him, I got on the air at Fox one day and I'm thinking out of the box. This is when I still think you could be fair in America and have adult conversations. And I got on the air and I said, I don't know. I think the guy is a racist. I said, I don't want to call him a racist, but he seems to have some deep-seated hatred for the culture of America. Poorly phrased and thinking out of the box. But it was my attempt to, I can't figure him out. What is wrong? What is happening here? Dinesh D'Souza is the one that puts it all together. Now, he has a new movie out. It is out in 1,000 theaters this weekend. It's called 2016. I want you to bring any and everyone you can to see this movie. This movie is vital. It was made by the producer of Schindler's List. Dinesh went over to Indonesia to put together his life, follow his life, and make sense of it for the American people. The reason why Dinesh understands it is because he's from India, and he understood anti-colonialism thought. And Dinesh is with us now. Hi, Dinesh. How are you?
Hey, good to be on the show, Glenn.
You have not only the movie coming out, but you also now have a book out this week called Obama's America, Unmaking the American Dream.
Yeah, Obama in his inaugural address used that phrase, remaking America. And I'm thinking, how do you remake something? Well, first you have to unmake it. And sure enough, I think over the past 4 years, Obama has been unmaking the American dream and replacing it with the dream from his father, a very different dream.
Okay, you write in your book about Obama's founding fathers. Give me a taste of what you expose in this book. New information about Bill Ayers, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, Obama grew up without his father, who abandoned the family at birth. The mother abandoned the family when Obama was 10 years old. She sent Obama alone back to Hawaii. And then over the next few decades, what Obama did, he was really a fractured soul, and he looked for surrogate fathers, sort of figures who could fill in for his dad and teach him chapter and verse of the anti-capitalist third world ideology that his father espoused.
Okay, hold on just a second here. We've been talking about Lolo. The more we look into his past, the more Lolo looks like a pretty decent guy. But every step of the way, he's sabotaged by Obama and his mother.
Yeah, in fact, there was a time when Obama really liked Lolo. Lolo would teach Obama to box, and Lola would say to Obama, listen, the world's a rough place, Obama. You've got to learn to survive. You've got to be tough. You've got to make it yourself. He was trying to teach self-reliance to Obama. And the mom found out about this and came swooping in and basically said to Lola, back off, and says to Obama, listen, Don't be like this guy. He's a sellout to power. In other words, she was angry with him because Lolo was becoming more pro-American. He was working for an oil company. He had signed up with the government to fight the communists. And Ann Obama wanted her son to be shaped by a principled anti-American guy. And so she kept redirecting young Obama to his real father.
So the principled anti-American guy that she decides is a pornographic writer and photographer and villainous anti-American communist Frank Marshall Davis.
Right. So here's the scene. Stanley Dunham, the grandfather in Hawaii, takes young Obama to the Waikiki shack where Frank Marshall Davis is holding court. The two older men basically either smoke dope or they drink heavily, they play Scrabble, and Frank Marshall Davis engages in unending anti-capitalist, anti-American diatribes. And this is going on, by the way, for 7 years, from the time Obama's 10 till he leaves Hawaii at the age of 17 to go to Occidental College. And so young Obama's sitting in the back of the room and drinking it all in. So, while you were going to Little League games and so on, this is Obama's upbringing.
So when I say it would be a miracle if President Obama were like us, because he never went to a 4th of July parade, with his family and sitting there and watching the fire trucks. He never did all the Little League games, all the things that we did. That's true.
Yeah, and I think what happened is with Frank Marshall Davis, in fairness, it wasn't Obama who chose him. It was the grandfather who selected him out. But once Obama turned 17 and he went to college, for the rest of his life, he sought out guys, radicals, revolutionaries, in one case, a domestic terrorist, Bill Ayers, and he began to glom onto them and learn from them. So at Columbia, he found Edward Said. Edward Said, described by Commentary magazine as a professor of terror. Edward Said, who physically went to throw rocks at Israel to symbolize his support for violent Palestinian resistance. Edward Said, close buddy of Yasser Arafat. This was Obama's friend, not just in college, but continuing through Said's death a few years ago. At Harvard, Obama sought out a Brazilian socialist, Roberto Unger. Now, this is new information, Glenn. This guy Unger wrote an article recently where he said it's a real pity that America is the world's number one, what he calls American hegemony. He goes, what I would like to see is all the other countries in the world, the other big countries like China, Brazil, Russia, India, gang up, that's his phrase, gang up on America and end American hegemony. So here's a guy calling for other countries to pull down the United States. And this guy, again, Obama's mentor at Harvard Law School, they stay in close touch, particularly by BlackBerry and email and so on over many years until the campaign. And then when the 2008 campaign comes around, this guy Unger skips town because he's worried that his connection with Obama will be exposed. And he says, and I'm quoting him now, I am a leftist and by conviction and temperament a revolutionary. Any connection between me and Barack Obama in the course of the campaign would only do harm. So here's a guy who knew that he was radioactive. Of course, he didn't have to worry. The press wasn't even looking for him. But just in case they were, he made sure he wasn't around so his connection with Obama would not be exposed.
I'm going to quote something from your book that is quoting from Barack Obama about his grandfather in the book, Dreams of My Father. And I warn you, I'm going to use an offensive word here, but this is quoting the president.